times.
Dave Dodge to your left, Mike Mosier, the little fella in the center, and Jim Reif. Hannes Heidt, Innsbruck, Austria, and Ken Barlow. And we're underway at the ACC. Notre Dame working from left to right. Jim will set the scene for you.
New Orleans has jumped into a 2-3 zone, which is what they told us at practice today they were going to do, Tom.
Joseph Price, a zone buster. Excellent shooter from the outside. Royal gets the rebound. Up once, up twice, and still no dice. Royal with it the third time and got it home. Donald Royal.
Well, that's one of the things we thought was going to happen. New Orleans is a finesse team, Tom. They're not strong, they're not bangers, and there's 3 straight times Notre Dame went up, and you give a team that many chances, you're in trouble.
New Orleans with the ball in the Notre Dame front court for the first time tonight. Jumper no good out of the corner. Robert Johnson. Rivers quickly into the corner to Price. Barlow shooting from his favorite spot, does not get it. Dolan keeps it alive and then the ball out of bounds.
See, that's one of the reasons coaches don't like to use zones, is because they don't have those box-out responsibilities. Now, he's not using a man because they just haven't been playing good man defense, Tom, so he's forced to use the zone.
Barlow from the top of the key has the field goal.
Notre Dame, as we suspected, started right out in a strong man-to-man defense.
Short jumper by the only left-hander on the floor tonight. That's Height, the big center. Foul on the play.
Well, that young man has been playing very well the last 4 games. Let's see if he gets him right on. Well, he did. That's good camera work, and Ken Barlow got him right on the left wrist as he was about to take the jumper.
Height, a 52% free throw shooter, makes the first one, and New Orleans is on the board.
The young man is still in the learning process, has a long way to go, but he's come a long way.
Gets 1 of 2, and Rivers quickly into the front court for Notre Dame. Price, too strong with it. There's Royal again, up and good.
Well, that's the man we spotlighted in the pregame. I told you he has great quickness, great reactions to the board, and he is really tough around the basket.
Driving is Adrianson. Height comes up with a loose ball. Short jumper won't go. Dolan clears the rebound. The ball out of bounds. Off Notre Dame.
Good call by the second official. Dave Dodge came in. Jim Reif had called New Orleans ball. Dave Dodge was positive it had bounced off of a New Orleans player, and he changed the call, and that's good officiating.
Rivers, the quarterback, of course, looking over the defense.
You know, one thing they're doing with the 2-3 zone, Tom. Go ahead.
Royal. Dolan on the rebound and got it home.
Good timeout call right now because they need it. They're down 8-1 and they have to get regrouped.
There's a timeout in the action. The score, Notre Dame 8, New Orleans 1. We'll be right at the end of the game. We'll select a player of the game. This award sponsored by our good friends at Gillette. Thank you, Gillette, for your support of great independent basketball.
Well, I thought, Tom, that this game would come down to 2 things. Obviously, rebounding, because I said that New Orleans is a finesse team. Notre Dame pounds it inside. They crash the boards. Right now, Notre Dame has 9 rebounds, New Orleans none. The shooting, New Orleans is none for 2, Notre Dame 4 of 10, and that's second and third possessions. Every shot Notre Dame has gotten so far, Tom, has been a high percentage shot right underneath practically, except for Barlow's jumper. New Orleans is having to work a lot harder.
Don't forget, fans, that at the end of the ball game, we'll select a player of the game. This award sponsored by our good friends at Gillette. Thank you, Gillette, for your support of great independent basketball. New Orleans in the corner with a basketball. Working off that post is the big, strong guy, Harris. Short jumper, no. Dolan with a rebound, and Notre Dame looking to run. Rivers turns it over. Fast break on. Adrianson. Blocked by Rivers. Here comes Height underneath. Doesn't get it. Price with a rebound. There's a foul on the play. So right now everything's gone wrong for New Orleans. Everything right for Notre Dame.
Boy, that is great timing on David Rivers' part. He knew that he couldn't beat Adrianson back. Watch him slap this off the glass. Now, that is not a goal, Tim. You can pin that ball up against the glass if you want to, if it's on the way up. Well, a great move by Height. There, he just out of frustration got the foul. Still in the 2-3 zone, Tom.
Rivers thus far content to feed somebody inside.
One of the reasons he used that zone is to stop Rivers, because he didn't want Rivers to control the game.
Royal, usually with very sure hands, lost that one out of bounds, and New Orleans takes over. Adrianson, a Marion High School product, as is Joseph Price, spent a year at Northwestern, then moved down to New Orleans.
Jimmy Dolan is guarding John Harris, their leading scorer. Harris is at 20 points a game. Dolan can play straight with him because Harris doesn't have great speed and great quickness, so Dolan can stay with him.
Robert Johnson, one of the fellows we previewed. Here's the short jumper and home by Sam Jones, the freshman out of Monticello, Florida.
Playing much better, 17 points and 14 rebounds on Monday. He's coming along.
Dolan all alone underneath. Royal keeps it alive, but New Orleans comes out of there with it. 8-3 the score. Clock down to almost 16 minutes remaining in the first half. Harris nowhere to go with it. In low. And a travel call. Setting up on the low post was Sam Jones at 6'6". Travel on the call.
That's what so many people do. When you make that first move, Tom, if the defensive man doesn't take it, then get rid of that ball and bounce it back outside again, because generally you're going to wind up turning it over.
Barlow off the pick. Yes. Barlow now with 4 points to go along with Royals' 2 field goals, and one by Jim Dolan, and we're in a 10-3 game. Drives to the baseline. Does Johnson. No good. Height underneath and stuffs it home. Hannes Height, whose dad was a high jumper on the Austrian Olympic team many years ago. He's just a freshman. Price from deep in the corner. Air ball. Adrianson again looking to run.
They told us they want to play a half-court game, Tom, but they'll bring it up there if they've got a chance. If they don't have the advantage, they'll just bring it out. And they're a high-percentage team with a lot of touches. Watch how much they move it. They've got what they call a motion game with a lot of picking and a lot of screening.
Adrianson leaves it for Jones. Short jumper, no. Whistle and a foul call on the play.
Common foul, number 55, John Harris, his first, the team's second.
10-5 to score. Notre Dame. No change in personnel by either club.
See, the one thing I was trying to point out, Tom, see where Hannes Height is? He's right in the middle of the 3-second lane. That's when Rivers has the ball out front to stop him from trying to penetrate into the middle.
Don Smith of New Orleans told Jim and I earlier today they don't want Rivers getting inside with the ball. But he burns them outside. Field goal, David Rivers, and the Irish go up 12-5. Quickly down court. Robert Johnson with a field goal. So New Orleans will run if you let them, and they'll play that half-court game if they must. Rivers again from deep outside. Notre Dame getting every loose ball off that offensive board. Here's Price free. No good. Dolan over the top. Nothing called, and New Orleans with the basketball.
Dan Smith has been screaming on the sidelines, block out, because you've got to get into somebody's body when you're playing against.
Here's Height, has his pocket picked by Dolan, and Rivers looking to run. And gets it to Royal over in the corner. Price shows him the ball once, does not shoot. Barlow collided with Dolan. It didn't go down. Harris with a quick rebound, and now Adrianson in the front court. Jones, one of the 4 players out of the state of Florida. The ball goes out of bounds, and Notre Dame will substitute for the first time this evening. Matt Beasert out of California, and Tim Kempton from Bayville, New York, as Dolan sits down.
Joseph Price is probably going to see a lot of action tonight, Tom, because Scotty Hicks and Dan Duff are both in the infirmary, both down with the flu, so neither one of them will be in action tonight.
short jump shot. No dice. And Johnson off the missed shot. A foul called, and I believe it's on Kempton.
I think you're right, Tom.
Notre Dame common foul number 41, Tim Kempton.
Now watch the position, because Tim Kempton didn't have good rebounding position. Watch the player inside of him. Watch Johnson. He just went up and made body contact right there. There's the call.
Johnson gets it inside. Hook shot up, no good by Height, but on the rebound is Harris.
Rebound called by 55, John Harris.
So 4 men in the starting lineup now for New Orleans have a field goal, and we're in a 12-9 ball game.
See, they've jumped into a 1-3-1 zone now. They're out of the 2-3, Tom. And what they're doing is on the first pass, they'll show a 2-3. The first pass is made to the wing, and then they slip from the 2-3 into a 1-3, and I think they're in the 1-3-1 zone right now.
Rivers with the responsibility of getting the ball off the baseline.
They'll zone on the out of bounds. All out of bounds plays, they're like most teams. They'll go right into a zone. See, they're showing a little bit of a 2-3 right now, but watch after the pass is made. See, there's the field goal percentages.
Yeah,
Just
like the weather outside. Look at those figures: 30.8, 28 point something. Beeser. Barlow bangs it off a blue jersey, off Sam Jones, and again Rivers will go to the baseline. Rivers, ball fake. Strong with a jumper. Beeser with a rebound. No. Barlow up. No. And a foul call. It's all Notre Dame under the offensive board.
See, I keep telling people rebounding is not because you're 6'10" or 11. Beezer is only 6'6", but he has great quickness and great reactions to the board. Now, Hannes Height made a couple of really fine moves to block there, but he just got himself in too much traffic and fouled.
Barlow, a 76% foul shooter, converts. Kenny was born in San Antonio, Texas. Spent kindergarten and the first couple of years of grade school in Japan. His daddy, a regular Army man. Gets both of them, and we go up to 14-9. Barlow now with 6 points. New Orleans beats the press, banks it off the glass, and it won't go by Johnson. Rebound still alive, and Height gets it home.
Well, now that's the first time they've really gone to that board. You know, turnaround is fair play. That's 3 tips, and they really did a nice job that time.
Height's a pretty good-looking kid for a freshman.
See, Adrianson is out on the point of the zone now with the 1-3-1, and you've got Jones, the 5-man in the back running the baseline.
Kempton trapped underneath, nowhere to go. Gets it back. Barlow, too strong with it. Harris with a rebound, and he's fouled by Kempton. Don Smith and his coaching staff complaining that Barlow was in that lane too long, but New Orleans comes up with the ball. There's a timeout in the action. The score, Notre Dame 14, New Orleans 11. We'll be back right that the broadcast cablecast rights of this game are granted by the University of Notre Dame to Metro Sports with exclusive production contract with TCS Productions. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without prior written consent is prohibited. The announcers on this telecast have been hired and paid for by TCS Metro Sports in consultation with the University of Notre Dame. Digger Phelps along the sidelines with that typical carnation. 14-11, 11:43 remaining.
Notre Dame shooting 5 of 16, Tom, at only 31%. New Orleans is 6 of 23 for only, or it's vice versa. New Orleans 31%. Notre Dame 6 of 23 for only 26%. There's the rebounding.
17-8, and out of the corner with a field goal is John Harris for his second field goal, and New Orleans is back to a 1-point ball game.
Now they're showing the 2-3 zone again. Playing Barlow man-to-man. Jones is under here, so they may be in a box and 1 right now.
Were you surprised to see Beeser and Kempton come in so early, Jim?
No, not really, because Digger has been shifting his players, and that's what he tends to do. He's going to want to do for the rest of the year.
Royal drives for the field goal. Donald Royal getting all kinds of opportunities underneath that offensive board and making good use of them.
Now take a look. That's where he's been doing all of his damage. One of the few times that Donald has gone to his left, he usually gets that ball and swings to his right, and he's really tough to keep under control because he's big and has good upper body strength.
Royal makes it a 3-point play, and Mr. Royal's got himself 7 points. He came in with a 7.7 average.
See, there's John Harris. He usually helps bring the ball up the floor against the press, which is interesting.
Harris lets one go, and he's short with it. They tell us Harris was 300 pounds when he came to school in New Orleans.
That's exactly right.
Stolen by Sam Jones. Underneath, Height is fouled. Beesert got in there, committed to foul, or Height would have had another quick two.
He sure would have. That's not bad hands. Watch now. You'll see the reach in by Beesert underneath. Good pass by Jones. We missed the reach in right there, but that would have been an automatic stuff, as you said, Tom. And he's only 52% at the line, so you might as well put him up there.
He converts it.
One.
17-14 now. Height gets all the rim, and he now has himself 7 points.
Made me look bad, didn't it?
Yeah, well, every time you say it, it happens, doesn't it?
It never fails.
Height 6'11", 210 pounds, so he's got a lot of growing to do.
Now they've gone into a man-to-man. This is the first time. He generally doesn't like to play it. Let's see what Rivers does.
Rivers working off the screen, does not get it. And Johnson with a rebound.
And Notre Dame went right into a 2-on-2 game with Rivers and Tim Kempton.
Barlow with a quick hands, just got enough of it to get it out of bounds in front of the Notre Dame bench.
Kempton comes out and screens and picks an awful lot for Rivers, and they play 2-on-2.
Robert Johnson with the ball high over his head. There's Harris looking for the baseline. He traveled.
Good call.
As Jim said just a moment ago, if you don't buy that first fake, you better do something with the ball because you're usually called for travel.
Absolutely. All you want to do in a case like that, Tom, is pass it right back out and get what they call a reversal and swing it around back over to the other side. No use trying to create problems for yourself.
Rivers looks to Kempton. Adrian steals. Oh. Harris the last fellow to touch him.
In a zone on the out of bounds.
That's Barlow's shot from out there. And drills it home. Barlow with his third field goal has 8 points total. Harris, even at his size, will bring the ball up the court from time to time.
That's the interesting thing. He'll help Adrianson bring that ball up the floor, and you don't see many guys that size doing that.
Sam Jones one-on-one on Barlow. Did not get it. Barlow with a rebound. Rivers fast breaking. Layup good, and he's fouled.